Woo! Mic check. Yep. Okay. Got it. Woo! Double mic check. Yep. Got it. Try to start it right at 9 a.m. exactly on the dot just by guessing. I didn't have, try to line up the countdown. Not bad. Got within 3 seconds of the countdown at 9 a.m. Instead of starting the countdown right at 9 a.m. So there you go. Boom. Good morning. Welcome back. This is Jesse. Getting started right at 9 a.m. as usual, right on the dot on this wacky Wednesday morning on the first half of the live stream. If you're new, awesome. If you're returning, even better. Good to see you back. We will cover Bitcoin, altcoins, stocks, anything else that kind of jumps out at us on the watch list. And on the second half of the live stream, we will cover your chart requests. So make sure to get your chart requests in early and make sure to put in the ticker symbol, the asset name, and the asset class. Is it crypto? Is it stocks? Whatever. So that when I search for it, I don't spend too much time on it since we are live. We don't want to, fumble around too much. But good morning. Good morning. Good morning. If you're on your computer, just a reminder, we didn't really talk about it before, but someone mentioned it yesterday. If you're on your computer, make sure you're on the correct live stream. Like this one. Like I have two comments, one for the phone and one for the live stream. So if there's a phone next to it, like a little pad, then and you're on the if you're on your computer, it's not the right one, and vice versa. So hopefully that helps out. But yeah, we'll get rocking and rolling. $200,000 Bitcoin in Q4, or I delete your account. Yeah, that's what all the hedge fund experts are saying on video. Who knows what they're really doing behind closed doors? It's not that I don't trust anybody. I don't trust enough people to where I have to trust the charts, what I see in the charts. Whether I'm right or wrong, I have to trust what I see in the charts. And we can go back to, I'm seeing the same comments as we did in 2021, the gold fractal comparison. Of course, we still have the global M2 money supply offset was from 8 weeks to 9 weeks. Now it's 12 weeks or 30 weeks, whatever it is. Still see that. Still see none of the indicators flash for coin glass or whatever. So on-chain was really off last time. All the people who gained 100,000 followers or more last bull run and made huge Twitter accounts, all used on-chain. And on-chain, none of them called a local top, which happens to be the top. None of the on-chain stuff. None of it. So why would it do it again, right? Why would it be different this time? Did they change the on-chain or what, right? So I'm seeing the same things, and it's like they didn't either those large accounts didn't learn their lesson, or they just want clicks, right? They just want clicks and they want to gain another 100,000 followers. So, if that's the case, then you know what's going on. But if not, then they just didn't learn, right? You didn't learn. You didn't take profits last time and you didn't learn this time. So that's either it's intentional or, you just can't teach a old dog new tricks. Woo! Just email me. So there you go. What else? So Bitcoin all-time high. Was that the high? Was that the all-time high? October 6th. It's not confirmed yet, but there's a lot of, and it'll be confirmed in hindsight, right? This was the local top. This was the local top confirmed, but it's not the top yet, right? It's not the top yet. It's going to be in hindsight. There are some signs why it is the top. We got the weekly bearish divergence. We've got the weekly sell signal. We got the 3-week bearish engulfing candle. Like, there's reasons why it's the top. But in hindsight, okay, just send me another one. In hindsight, we're looking at a monthly, if there's a monthly sell signal, right? That would be the ultimate confirmation of that the bear market is here, right? A monthly. So we can take a look at that, but by the time a monthly signal happens, it's already down 40%, right? And then you're pretty much a forced hodler at that point. So if you're not selling the local tops, in hindsight, you won't be selling the top. So that's what it is. Because it's always in hindsight. But the local tops start, and the last couple of local tops dropped 32%. So if it's already down 32% on a local top and they didn't sell, then they're going to be down 40% before they ever sell the top. So there you go. There you go. Those are just facts. That's not me, it's just calling it the way I see it, right? It's just facts that if you're not selling local tops, there's no way you're selling the top again, right? So there you go. What else? Staying dedicated. Yep, you got it. You got it. Golfing chart for BTC and other assets is more enticing to buy the dip when. Yeah. So if it's going, if this is the bear market and it's going into the bear market in the past, and the past doesn't equal the future. In the past, it took 12 months, right? And I wasn't worried about buying the dip until a higher probability of a reversal is happening, right? So from February to April 2022, there was a nice bounce. There was like a 30 to 40% bounce on Bitcoin, but I was expecting it to get sold off. And it did, right? At 48,000, there was some market snipers that were trapped at the top at 65,000. They wrote it down to like, what was it? 40,000. I don't know. I'm not going to scroll backwards, but, and then price pushed all the way up to like 50,000 and they got out at 48,000, right? We were talking about the Discord, trying to get everyone prepared mentally, even though obviously none of this is financial advice. Obviously, it's for educational purposes only. And hopefully we have a little bit of fun along the way making fun of me. But with that, we are not worried about buying the dips all the way down. What I've been talking about for 4.5, 5 years is hashtag buy the right dip, right? So why was I not worried, right? Well, at the bottom, usually Bitcoin and other assets give us bullish divergence, right? Not always, but often. So we had bullish divergence on the daily chart. We had bullish divergence on the weekly chart. I can't remember about the higher time frames. And so it just takes time for the ship to get turned around. And so I wasn't worried about it. And towards the bottom, when it's going through a bottoming phase, it takes time. It takes time to bring back in buyers and blah, blah, blah. So I was buying at 16,800 in January of 2023, January 3rd, 4th, the flip of the 3rd of the 4th is technically the January 4th candle, but it was still January 3rd at night. And then the weekly buy signal happened on January 9th. So I was only like 5 days ahead of that because I'm waiting for the ship to get turned around. So My goal isn't to capture the top wick or the bottom wick. The goal is to capture 80% of the move, up or down. So if it's 5 to 10% from the bottom, 5 to 10% from the top, do everything in my power to capture 80% of the move, and I'd be happy, right? I'd be happy with that. That's a good goal, right? So end of 2021, my goal at the time was the top minus 10 to 13%, and it was right around 12%. I felt like I was late. So here I was at the bottom. I wanted to make it 5 to 8%, and I did. 16,800 is the bottom minus 5 to 8%. Nailed it. So always try to get better, but never expecting 100%. So there you go. Spotify for short position under 7. Yeah. What is the ticker symbol? Spot? Is it spot? Give me the ticker symbol too. Yeah, I'll cover it. So here we are, Bitcoin. That was, make sure the mic's on. That was a 10-minute rant. 10-minute rant. Make sure the mic's on. Classic Jesse if it was off. But price put in a lower high, right? Confirmed with the lower low. This lower high was confirmed with the lower low. Push up, 10 days, right? 10 days, which I thought was interesting when I pointed out from wick to wick here, 10 days, we just kind of, yeah, spot. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure. Thank you. Pointed this out yesterday, right? Or was it yesterday or the day before in the live stream? But from wick to wick, this bounce was 10 days. And I was like, no way it's going to give us, what was it from here? 10 days, right? I mean, you got this wick here, but then it put it in a lower high. So that's why I was counting it from over here. But that bounce, 10 days from wick to wick. And this would be another lower high, right? So let's see where I'm at. So you've got a lower high here at 115,157-ish. You've got a potential, because it's not confirmed yet, lower high here at 114,562-ish. Another pending sell. So we talked about this. Yes, it was buy signal above the trending dots. But the weekly chart is flipping bearish. There was an R-size sell signal in the weekly chart. 3-week chart had a bearish engulfing candle. So I'm expecting all these bounces to get sold off, right? I'm expecting it to get sold off. And the bounces are meant for shorting, right? So if you don't feel comfortable shorting, then don't short. Just do longs. And when it goes to a sell signal, just close your position, right? And you don't even have to do that. Oh, here we go. Today's sponsor, Jesse Olson, MarketSniper.pro. Brought to you by. About to roll this out. I feel like I got it. I'm 99.9% sure. I just want to make sure. And the website's like, I can always update the website more, but I think I got the website like 99% done too. All last night. Wife was going to bed at like 9:15, so I took the laptop downstairs and did more work for like, I don't know, hour and a half. Once the baby was asleep, wife was asleep, all that stuff. So, yeah, you'd probably be stopped out here. I don't have the stop losses turned on just for this purposes, but stop loss, trailing stop loss, all that should be in there, right? I don't have that turned off there, but there you go. So sharpshooter candles 4.21 is about to get rolled out. Also, so this is just like another, like there's so many ways you can customize the sharpshooter candle strategy 4.21. For example, this is the micro NASDAQ futures. So it's about $3,400 to trade one micro contract futures on NASDAQ. You can see short entry, right? I've got the reversal candles on, but not the reversal exit on. But there's a reversal exit that would have gotten you out here at 24,957. This is the 1 hour chart, by the way. You can customize it down to the 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart, 15-minute chart. You can flip it to Heikinashi. Just know that on the strategy tester, to get more accurate results on Heikinashi, you got to check the box OHLC. There's so much you can do with this, but then if you got the buy signal here on, this is recent, this is within the last week or whatever, right? All the way to 28. So the 1 hour chart would have kept you in long here. So you stop trailing stop loss. That's what the red line is. So I had the stop loss in and the trailing stop loss in, right? And then a take profit. So the green line means that's where I'd set the take profit at. And this was a 2-to-1 ratio, right? 2-to-1 ratio. I think it was, don't quote me on this, I think it was a 4%. And maybe it was more than, it's got to be more than a 2-to-1 ratio. I think this was a 0.5%. This is like 4%. And then the trailing stop loss is like 1%. I don't know. I can't remember, but there's so many ways to customize it. So get you out of the trailing stop loss there, right? So short, out of the trailing stop loss, that would have been a win. And then a long, stay in, and then take profit. Boom, right? Did price go higher? Absolutely. But stick to the plan, right? So take profit, and that would have been a nice risk reward. So that's the sharpshooter candles strategy 4.21. You can customize it on any time frame, any asset, but not all are created equal. Trading futures is very high risk, obviously. So is crypto, because usually you're with leverage and whatnot. So just keep that in mind. Never go all in. Never go all in. Even if you had like a $50,000 futures trading account, I would still start off paper trading until you get it dialed in. You feel comfortable with the automation. You know, maybe even paper trade for 30 days, which means you're not using real money. And then the next 30 days, maybe one contract. And if it's profitable, right, after your whatever strategy you come up with, and it's profitable for 30 days, then consider increasing to 2 contracts, right? So that's the strategy. And of course, the other one too, right? So this is the other one, Market Sniper Sharpshooter RSI 3.2. This is the 4-hour chart on Bitcoin. You see there's a RSI sell signal, and so you can customize that one too. And full customization, right? Like it has all the bells and whistles for visual, trading session, like time. Like if you check that, it only takes trades between 6:30 and 9:45 or whatever time you do. The noise filter, stop loss, take profit, scaling, right? You could do take profit at 25% quantity. Like there, you can customize both of them just like that. So lots of possibilities. Oh, I forgot. Oh no, I forgot to share it. Hold on. Time out. Oh, 18 minutes in. That's okay. It's okay. Like, repost, good reminder, right? Make sure to smash a like, throw in a quick emoji, comment, and reshare with your friends, family, and whoever else you want. So there we are. You got 2 trading bots rolling out probably tonight. And I'm going really cheap. I'm going super cheap. And if you need help with, like I'll have probably like a 30-minute video about the settings, what you can do. Probably have a 30-minute video on how to set up the 100% full automation. But you're gonna have so many questions that Apilix has agreed to do a 1-hour call. Obviously, that costs money, but he can have you 100% fully set up within 1 hour. You don't want me to do it because I'll charge you $1,000. I charged Apilix $1,000. I charged 9 others $1,000 because, you know, I'm not going to do it for anything less, you know, than jumping on a video call for $1,000. So Apilix is going to do it for $250. And the reason why I asked him to help me is because he's super savvy on the tech stuff, and he picked it up so quickly that he probably didn't need me on the 1 hour call, but he can knock it out, get you all set up on, because you got to do the trading view settings, you got to do the trading view alerts, the JSON messages, the third party setup. There's a lot of setup, but you can knock it out in 1 hour, and you basically just jump right to the front of the line of jumping right into full automation and then setting up your paper trading account, right? That's what I would recommend, starting with a paper trading account. And as we continue to grow as a community, as more trading bots get rolled out, there's no way it's going to remain at the same price that it is going to be rolled out. It's just going to continue to get more expensive over time, but you'll be grandfathered in on the $49. And I may or may not roll out. We'll just leave it at that. We're going to start off with 2 trading bots, and then I'll try to roll out a new one every week. And maybe the first trading bot will be the best one. Maybe the second one will be. Maybe the third one. Maybe there will be a future trading bot we don't even know about that becomes the best. We don't know. So the dedication is to way out surpass the value of the cost. Like, if you have a Netflix subscription, it costs you money and time. If you have a trading bot subscription and it makes you money, then it pays for itself, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I think I'm gonna roll out the first 2, maybe tonight, tomorrow at the latest. I don't know. I want to make sure. Yep. Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, Caesar. Welcome back. All right, let's jump back into it. Here we are, still retesting the trading dots as of right now. Still pending sell signal on the daily chart. RSI buy signal, so the lower high is not confirmed yet. But if you start, those are the targets. If you start closing below there, right? So you're right on the edge. If you get a candle close below the trending dots, and you get a candle close below the upward sloping trend line, it seems like that's going to be it, right? I don't know. What are we drawing here? What are we drawing? How are we going to slice this? I don't know. But the most important thing is, if we start seeing the candle closes below and like over in this area, then most likely it's going to be a lower high. And then, of course, you get a candle close back in target 2 and below the 106.415. That would confirm another lower high with another lower low, my personal opinion. So take that for what it is. Weekly chart, like I said, back up above the trending dots for a brief moment, but the weekly chart and all of this longer term bearish divergence, including the highest weekly candle close ever. So lower highs on RSI. You still have that RSI sell signal. This would be after the weekly bearish divergence, right? And you can go all the way back. You can go all the way back. This is all bearish divergence. All bearish divergence on the weekly, right? And then if this is the lower high, that's the higher probability. So after the bearish divergence, after a lower high, you can see, battle. Price goes higher on a battle. And then you start to see it come all the way back down. And then you're going to see lower targets, right? So not confirmed yet, but the weekly candle is not looking great, right? Especially if you take off the indicator for a second, right? This closed over here, taking this pivot out. Now we're back below this pivot again, right? Doesn't look great. You got these 4 shorter term targets. 2 out of 4 have been hit. This one was just missed on the shorter term targets, right? That wick just missed at 102. And then you got the longer term targets. In the last bear market, Bitcoin came all the way down and hit target 4, right? Let me add this back on. Let's go technicals. Let's go moving average. So 200. Let's go 1 week and keep the style that I always have it at. There you go. So I posted that eventually Bitcoin is going to come back and retest the 200-week moving average. That, in my opinion, that is the true value of Bitcoin and all these other assets. 200-week moving average is a slow moving average, and eventually price comes back to retest it. So long term, I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin at 55,000, in my opinion, is the true value, right? So, and the reason why I say that is because eventually price comes back to retest it. So even if it's down 30% or whatever it is, like it has been in the past, even if it's down 30% from the 200-week moving average, I would still say the long-term true value is still the 55,000, still on an upward slope, right? And so if you want to go back to like 1 year returns, right? So if you go back to like upward sloping, let's just say January 1st to January 6th, we'll just call it that. 43% return, right? In a year. So still bullish on it. If you go back to January 22% return, right? And obviously that brings it down the yearly after like a crash, right? So after a market pullback, 75 pullback, after a market crash of 77%, it slows the growth down, but it's still upward sloping. What you wouldn't want to see is it to start sloping downward. We definitely wouldn't want that, right? So it's never a guarantee. Hopefully it's always upward sloping for the rest of its life in existence, but you wouldn't want it to slope downward. It's possible. Some of the altcoins are sloping downward, so we'll see. But right now, the bullish outlook is that going back to the 200-week moving average, right? July 2021, when it first formed on Binance. Each exchange probably looks differently, but you can see the bullishness long term is upward sloping, right? So if you ever were to be a dollar cost average person, right? The best time to dollar cost average is below the 200-week moving average. That's the opportunity zone that I pointed out in the last bear market. As it's crashing down, there's so many dollar cost average. Why? Because they didn't sell the local top that turned into the top. That's number one. So they go from buy the dip, all the way down. So they go buy the dip, bro, to just dollar cost average, bro, right? And that would never be my strategy. I would never dollar cost average in a declining bear market. What if it never turns back around, right? I'd rather wait for a higher probability reversal. But if you're ever going to dollar cost average without the reversal, below the 200-week moving average, below the 200-week moving average is the best time to dollar cost average. If you're a dollar cost average guy, right? Not up here. This is not the time to dollar cost average. That's a terrible strategy. Back here is not the time to dollar cost average. Yes, you get away with it like 5 years later. But if you dollar cost average at 60,000 and then in 2026 we go back to 55,000, still not a great. It's still not great because inflation, right? You're trying to outrun inflation. That's who your competition is. Your competition is inflation. You have to outpace inflation. Otherwise, it was all for nothing, right? So buying the tops or dollar cost averaging the tops is not my strategy. No way. No way. You got all this bearish divergence. Could be putting in a sneaky lower high in the weekly chart. The 3-week chart had a bearish engulfing candle. We're going to look at that in a second. This is a great time historically to dollar cost average, right? Right? You could even move it over here, right? Great time to dollar cost average under there. If you're a dollar cost average guy, if you feel the need to. But it's simple enough to like spot bullish divergence and then see like a weekly buy signal, right? Case in point. Bullish divergence followed by the weekly buy signal, right? Could have just done that. It's still below the 200-week moving average at $21,000, right? So that could have been your buy. And then you're like, oh, I'm just going to put it into one of my wallets and never look at it ever again. It's not a bad strategy, in my personal opinion, but buying up here, not a good idea. Buying up here, not a good idea, in my personal opinion, right? Everyone's got their own opinions. That's my opinion, right? So, like I said, it's not financial advice. That's just the way I look at it, right? I'd rather buy low and sell high. And then do it again. And if it doesn't work out, if Bitcoin does go to zero, it may never go to zero. It may always do this the rest of its entire for 1,000 years, right? 1,000 years, it might just always be up only. We won't even live to see it, but if it doesn't, there is always that one chance that people lose faith in it, or there's a better asset that sucks all the liquidity out of it, right? The next Bitcoin, or something that is quantum resistant. Quantum computers are crazy, like getting crazy fast, right? So, I never go all in on any of the assets. I never go all in. And there's always something that you can't foresee, whether that's quantum, AI, hackers, blah, blah, blah. The powers that be could suppress a $2 trillion market indefinitely if they really wanted to. So there's so many things out of our control that I would still rather buy low. I'm still not going all in. And I'd rather sell high, right? Anytime it's extended away from the 200, I'm not buying. Swing trading, yes. This is a great swing trade. This is not as good of a swing trade, but it's still pretty good, right? Amazing swing trade. Really good swing trade. Pretty good swing trade, right? As time goes on, they're not as good, but that's it, right? So this is a great time. If you had to be a dollar cost averaging, bro, that's your dollar cost averaging below the 200-week moving average. You could do that again down here too. I would personally rather wait for the higher probability of a reversal. You've got bullish divergence followed by the buy signal on the weekly chart. It was pretty close, right? I saw what was unfolding for a couple of months. So I was more aggressive at 16,800, right around like the week before, right? The week before 68,800 based off of the daily chart and a buy signal on the daily chart, right? So that's that. So I'd rather do that than buy up here. So take that for what it's worth, if anything. 3-week. Let's look at the 2-week chart. How is that looking? Let's zoom in here. Let's get a better view of it. 2-week chart doesn't look great, right? Especially if it closes, but I mean, it just started. What if it closed all the way down here, right? Any 2-week close below 108 is another check mark of why the top is in, right? At least going down to 30%, at least the local top. So that's another milestone for the 2-week chart. You get a candle close below 108, and that puts in a lower low. 3-week chart. What was it? How many were there? I can't remember. I'd have to look at the post. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 7 bearish engulfing candles price went lower. One of them, or you could say 2 of them. There's 2 in that bear market, and then you got another one and down here, right? And then the one at the end was not, right? And then this one was not. Like price went higher, and then this 3-week bearish engulfing candle price went higher, like the 4th candle over, right? Bullish engulfing. So there's a bullish engulfing candle down there. But that's the 3-week chart. What are we already at? 37 minutes since all Bitcoin. Woo! I personally don't DCA. But if you had to be a DCA, bro, I'd want to see the 200-week moving average upsloping like it is and price below it. But I still don't DCA. I would still trigger a buy based off of, the daily chart, the weekly chart flipping around. That's what I would. I just don't DCA. But if you had if you just wanted to be like a saver, right, and you wanted to DCA as like a saver, saving in Bitcoin or some other asset, if it's below like the 200 and the 200's upsloping and you believe in the company or you believe in the coin, blah, 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 that's what I'd be like, saving $100 a week or $200 a week or whatever you're able to do, $1,000 a week. Yeah, that would be a better strategy than saving now, right? Looking at the Bitcoin chart. So, hello. Awesome. Welcome. Target is under 200 EMA daily. Huh? I don't know where the 200 EMA is right now, but so that's the 3-week chart. Remember, the bearish engulfing candle created a wick on the 3-week candle and 116,509. And of course, you get a close below 113,237. Now we're only 2 days into a 3-week chart, a 3-week candle, right? So it's gonna take a few weeks to play out. But this bearish engulfing candle, and then this one created a wick, and then finished all the way down here, right? So even if you took like this move, what the heck was that? Okay, wrong one. Let's see, bars pattern. There we go. Took this and took this, right? I got too many drawings on here. This, and you just kind of measure like the body of the candle, right? This 3-week candle could close all the way down here if it played out similar to this local top, right? So this local top, this second 3-week candle came all the way down here, right? And this doesn't show the wick. So by then, all 4 shorter term targets would have been hit, and we would be below longer term target 1. So that would at least be the local top. The same bearish engulfing candle setup would at least be the local top. And it would have been a 32% correction. It's starting to look like it right now. It's starting to look very similar to this 2-3 week candle, right? Bearish engulfing, followed by the next 3-week candle, started with a wick, and then came all the way down back to $78,000, right? Bearish engulfing, started with a wick, and come all the way down to target 4. Hit all 4 targets to the downside, right? Hit all 4 targets to the downside. This would hit all 4 targets to the downside. Price would be back around that $93,000 to $95,000. Then you don't want to break that. You break that, maybe it bounces back up into target 1, and then if you start seeing it get into target 2, etc., this time is not a local top. That's when the confirmation is going to be there. If it doesn't reverse back around, that was not a local top. In hindsight, most likely the 3-week chart is bearish, the 2-week chart is bearish, the weekly chart is bearish, the monthly chart is probably having a MACD bearish crossover, blah, 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 etc. Right? That's all going to be in hindsight. The price is already going to be down 30%. So the hindsight crew is not going to call the top again, right? They're not. They're not going to, unless they're watching my videos today. And then they pivot. Oh crap, I better start calling it now, right? I mean, we're the foresight crew. So sometimes the local tops don't turn into the tops, right? The last local top was not the top. I was making a case of all the reasons why it could be, but like I said, it's not a guarantee. We don't know for sure. It's going to be in hindsight. So with foresight, we're talking about it. We're giving you all the reasons why it could be, but it's at least a local top, right? At least a local top. And the last local tops with the bearish engulfing candles dropped and hit all 4 targets and dropped 30 to 30, at least 32%, I think. So there we are. That's what we're watching on Bitcoin. What else? Ethereum, is that going to be another lower high? It's hit 3 out of 4 targets to the downside so far. 4th target is all the way down here at 3,100. Algo just cannot break out. Cannot break out, you know. XRP, will it come back and retest the trending dots similar to Ethereum and Bitcoin? Is that going to be another lower high, similar looking to Bitcoin and Ethereum? Is it going to get faded? Possibly, right? Still in a downward trend until proven otherwise. Is it going to fill some of that wick? Probably, right? Is it going to come back and retest the 200-week moving average? Is it the bear market? If it's the bear market, it's going to, right? I'd be surprised if it doesn't. I've been surprised before, but so below the 200, buy signal back above the trailing dots, price took off to the upside. Put in bearish divergence, could be sneaky lower high, lower low, taking out that pivot point. Is this going to be another lower high? Is it going to come down like that, right? right? And you got the trajectory over here. So we'll see how it plays out. The alert just went off. XCN, Chainlink, Near, Cardano. Oof. Downward sloping 200-week moving average. That's not a good sight to see. Man, I still see people hoping for Cardano. I still see people hoping for some altcoins. But when there's a down sloping 200-week moving average, that's not a good sign. You wouldn't want to see that with Bitcoin either, right? So you got the up sloping 200-week moving average, and then it started to down slope. It's not good. No matter what people say, that's not a good sign, right? It's not a good sign. I wonder what Intel looks like, because Intel was one of the ones that never made a new all-time high. There's some recent hype around it, their infrastructure, blah blah blah. Who knows what really is going on? Maybe there's just a pump and dump, but it's pumping hard right now. But just look at the weekly chart, right? Down sloping from February 2022. Price came all the way down, pumped all the way back up into it, and then went lower. This is like 4 years, made another lower low. So it's not good if the 200-week moving average is down sloping, right? As an example, you go all the way back to the bear market, right? And it's late, right? Bear market, 2000 .com bubble, well below the 200-week moving average, dropped probably 90%, 82.5%. And then the bottom was like 84% over here, wick to wick, right? But it went in a down sloping momentum, and it takes time for the ship to get turned around, right? Yes, there's going to be some epic bounces along the way, right? This is an epic bounce, 100% bounce, right? I mean, maybe not epic, but not like crypto epic, but that's a pretty good bounce. But if you're buying up here when it's really far extended away from the 200-week moving average, like Bitcoin is right now, and Bitcoin was up sloping on the 200-week moving average, could do no wrong, right? This is like 10 years. Intel could do no wrong for 10 years, right? And then got extended away from the 200-week moving average like 130%, right? Not only did it come back and retest the 200 like we're talking about, it went below it, and you could have DCA'd. It would have been better than DCAing up here, but that still wouldn't have been a good strategy, especially once the 200-week moving average starts to down slope. I mean, it's just, you wouldn't even be getting back to break even for, like, if you were DCAing over here underneath of it, you're like break even for 5,676 days. How many years is that? 811 weekly candles. That's a long time. Here, I can just look at it. About 15 years. 15 years while inflation is going on. That's not a good strategy, right? But if you were like, okay, it's up sloping, and you've up sloping, and then you get a buy signal on the weekly chart, right? And it's back above the trailing dots, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna hold it, blah blah blah. That would be better, but still, 3 years later, it's up, what, 10%, right? Even like over in here, 60%. So that's why I don't DCA, because what if Bitcoin did something similar to Intel? Not saying it is. I'm just pointing out of what it would look like, right? You get that sell signal all the way down to the 200-week moving average. You start DCAing in an upward slope. Next thing you know, it goes way down to $13. And then the down sloping 200-week moving average. We don't know how long that's going to last, right? It takes time for a 200-week moving average to flip, right? So if you go back up to crypto, here we are, Cardano, right? Just making observations, right? Cardano was really far extended away from the 200. See, the 200 is probably about right here. It wasn't even created yet. 600% extended away from the 200-week moving average, right? Hasn't made a new all-time high since August 2021. Bounced nicely in November. And now it's been down sloping ever since. All of 2025 is down sloping. So there's never a guarantee. No matter what influencers, YouTubers, Twitter X people say, there's never a guarantee. If you go all in on something and it doesn't work out, then you're like me in real estate from 2005 to 2008. So, dang, 52 minutes. Take a couple glances here. H bar still below the trailing dots on the weekly chart. QNT down sloping 200-week moving average on QNT. XLM down sloping over here on XLM. Solana flatline 200-week moving average. Down sloping on Mana, right? Down sloping 200-week moving average. Fetch starting to downslope the 200-week moving average. For sure, bear market since March 2024. You get the point, right? Getting a bounce on Trump. Expect bounces, right? Rarible down sloping 200-week moving average. Hardcore. What else? NASDAQ is pretty far extended away from the 200-week moving average. Let's see. It was. It's more extended away now than it was in January. And it came back, 20 something percent? 26%, right? It was extended away 71% and then came all the way back to the 200. So not as extended as it was in 2021, but more extended than it was January 2025 and came close to it, but did not hit it on the NASDAQ futures. The dollar not doing much. Still holding trending dots for now. Only one target's been hit so far. PayPal rejected. Down sloping 200-week moving average since 2022. Finally just got rejected off the 200-week moving average 3 years later. 3 years later. Bullish divergence way down here. It's just, took a long time. PayPal just got crushed. And they have like 25% of all merchant business or something like that, right? Downward sloping hive, 200-week moving average. Expect amazing bounces, right? So was that it? Is going to come back and retest it? Something to think about. Down sloping Bitfarm had an amazing bounce and hit 4 out of 4 targets, longer term targets to the upside. Marathon Digital down sloping, the bounce wasn't as good so far. Lemonade. Lemonade was down sloping since April 2024. Epic bounce, came back tested it all the way down, and now it's sloping upwards again, right? So Lemonade's looking good on the daily chart. Lemonade's looking good on the weekly chart. We've got the sloping upward again, but for it to go down sloping, right? It was in a bear market from January 2021. Bottom was October 2023. Took some more time, right? So it takes time for the ship to get turned around, but it's bullish on the daily chart. It's bullish on the weekly chart. Got these 4 targets mapped out, and still watching Lemonade over there. What else? I think that's about it. We'll just cover some of the. Okay, let's go back to. Yeah, a couple of the alts had nice pumps like XRP, HBAR, XLM, November 2024. But no 10xers, right? I think those were like 400 to 600%. Yep. What else? Chart request, Spotify. Okay. Stock. I think I have it on there. No? This is the weekly chart. There was a sell signal. It is below the trailing dots as of right now. So could come back and retest them. What else? It could be the top at 777. Spotify for a short position entered at 700. So if that was the top, came down, sell signal, pump back up. This is a weekly chart. Possible lower high. Possible lower high here. Not confirmed yet. Get a weekly close below 625. That would be confirming on the weekly chart. But the trending dots have flipped bearish. Price is well below it. Trending dots are up at like close to the 700. Daily chart is bearish as of now. All right. Let's see. 2-week chart. Let's try to get the overall. Battling the 200-week moving average right now. Bearish divergence on the 2-week chart. Lower highs. Bearish engulfing candle on the 2-week chart there. With follow through. What else? Still above the trending dots. So trending dots are at 611. Seems like you would want to at least retest the trending dots. Now the trending dots are moving, so expect the next dot to be like 616. 636, right? 654 ish. So just keep that in mind, expecting bounces along the way. Um, still bullish on the 3-week chart. RSI sell signal, but could always have one more bounce, maybe. But get back into these trend dots, could bounce. 700 seems like a pretty good entry. And if you're like trying to push it and you didn't care about getting stopped out at, maybe at some point move the stop loss to like break even, and then it's a risk-free trade other than not locking in realized gains. But if your thesis was it's for sure coming back to the 200-week moving average, and you can move your stop loss to break even, and you're like, I'm holding it for all the way till 295 or 300, wherever the 200-week moving average is, and the stop loss is moved to break even, then I don't see a problem with that. But however, the RSI sell signal on the monthly chart, not quite a bearish engulfing candle on the monthly chart, but doesn't look great. Trending dots are down here at 516. You can move those dots over here. Let's see. Maybe we don't see a bounce till there, right? Below 600. What would that look like? Maybe a couple months, it's like that. And then bounces. Who knows, right? And then you got the new trend, the new monthly trend. And then, when everyone's calling me a perma bear, blah, 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 however the TA works out, right? However the TA plays out, right? However it plays out. Spotify. So daily chart. Expect bounces along the way. So there is a gap up here. I think overall thesis of a short, it was filled there. So I'd say that's filled. Makes sense to me, shorting it, but just be aware that, while the higher time frames are still going through like a reversal, you see some bigger bounces to the upside. So possibly move the stop loss to break even if you can, or if you're just like, no way, I'm just holding it. Do you Rivian? I haven't looked at Rivian in a bit. Let's see. Pretty sure I have Rivian on here still. There it is. Buy signal on the daily chart yesterday. RSI buy signal pending right now. Got a gap here. Had broken out, came back for a back test, and it's chop city, right? Way below the 200-week moving average. So could it be like a PayPal where it takes forever, right? And retest the 200-week moving average and down sloping, right? So that's Rivian. Weekly chart, pending buy signal again. Again, pretty severe down sloping 200-week moving average. So maybe it's just a retest of it, and it takes, months for it to retest it. Who knows? But doesn't look awesome with the down sloping 200-week like it is. But like we saw with Lemonade, there was a massive bounce, fills a gap, came all the way back down, then start to make its move like that, right? So it's possible. got this gap up over here at $23. It would flip the 200-week moving average, come back for a retest, and then battle some more, and then take off to the upside. So buy signal on the daily chart, pending buy signal on the weekly chart. So that's Rivian. Slow mover. BTC dominance. Where are we at? Time? Oh, we're over an hour. Dominance seems to be breaking down today. Market seems to be moving into stable coins, which is a large part of the calculation. So what was it? Back in September? Yeah, September. I posted this chart. BTC dominance came all the way up to 63.5% the next week. Still below the trailing dots, still below. And, would we see some sort of bounce on Bitcoin on Bitcoin dominance and then start to roll over like this chart is drawn, and then see some altcoins have a nice bounce for 2 to 4 months? I hope so. I would love to see that. Not seeing it right now, but yeah, the weekly chart is still bearish underneath the trending dots. Daily chart was at the bounce. I mean, it lined up on the daily chart, it lined up almost perfectly with the purple path, but it's all we have right now. It is breaking down right now, so something to keep an eye on. Or is Bitcoin just going to lead the way to the downside, and some of the altcoins bounce for 2 to 4 months? So I don't know. But the weekly chart, we drew this out probably more than a month ago. So we'll see. Hope so. With that, I think we're going to call it here. We're over an hour. JK Queen -05J. I think you used up all your free credits. So with that, thanks everyone. Appreciate all of your support. Help me help you. Help me with algorithms. Smash the like button, repost, share, comment, emoji, blah blah blah. Helps with the algorithms. I appreciate it. And with that, hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Adios.